Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today I'm going to discuss one case study relevant to A2 level economics. If you are going to appear in October-November exam, then it will really help you. And if you're going to appear in any upcoming exam, then definitely this is relevant for all of you as well. So I suggest to all of you to stop the screen and take screenshot of this page. This is the entire case study you can see on the screen right now. It starts from here and it ends here. So you can read this paragraph. These are small 3 paragraphs relevant to Botswana. So you can study them thoroughly. And afterwards, you can move to the questions. Okay, so directly I'm moving to the question. You can stop the video, read the entire paragraph, or you can take screenshot and read it later on. So the first question here is identify 2 advantages of Botswana for foreign investors. So you have to basically identify 2 benefits that foreign investors will get from Botswana. Okay, so in this case study, it has been mentioned that the people and the workers in Botswana are educated. The workforce is the most educated. Definitely, it is beneficial for the foreign investors. And the wage rates are relatively low. So it is again beneficial for the company coming into Botswana, the foreign investors or multinational companies coming there. It is again beneficial for them because it will reduce their cost of production. And again, you can see here that the corporate tax is one of the lowest in Africa at 15%, and profit can be. This is again beneficial because corporate tax is low. Corporate tax is basically the tax that is imposed on profits of the business. So if it is low for the foreign investors, then definitely they can benefit out of it. And the next thing you can see here is profits can easily be sent back to the home country because there are no exchange controls. These are also benefits for the basically foreign investors. What does this statement mean? This statement means that whatever profit these companies will earn in Botswana, they can be sent back to their origin countries because there are no exchange controls. Exchange control means there is no limit how much profits can be sent back. So they can send every penny they earn there to their origin country. So this is beneficial for them. So these are the benefits mentioned here, and you can see answer of this question on the screen right now. And you can stop the video and read this answer again. Okay, so the next question is, what evidence is there in the article that Botswana is a developing country? We know that developing countries are basically agricultural based countries. They rely on natural resources more, and they employ more workers in agriculture or basically relevant to natural industry, natural sector, or basically agriculture sector. And secondly, infrastructure of such countries is definitely poor, and political stability is less, and all these factors are basically factors make a country as a developing country. So you can find out some features of developing countries here in this article, and you can see that first of all, most of the wealth created by Botswana comes from the diamond industry that is relevant to natural resources. And this is the largest producer of diamonds. 77% of the country's exports earnings are basically from selling diamonds to other countries. And similarly, you can find out some other features of Botswana as a developing country as well. But these features are not very strong to finally say that it is a developing country. However, to some extent, we can say that it is a developing country because we need some more indicators to finally conclude whether it is developing or not. So you can read the answer of this question that is showing on the screen right now. And now I'm moving to the next question, that is part C of question number 1. And what type of market structure exists in Botswana diamond industry? Use the article to explain your answer. Okay, so different market structures are basically perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition, And similarly, oligopoly market structure and duopoly market structure. These are different market structures. You have to identify which type of market structure exists in Botswana. So in diamond industry, specifically, it is talking about diamond industry. We can see in the article that it is saying that 75% De Beers, a private company, and Botswana government each owns 50% of uh, Botswana, but De Beers keeps 75% of profit. Means ke most of the profit go into the De Beers, that is the company name of company. It advocates that it would be a monopoly scenario, but again, we cannot finally conclude because we need some more features to finally say whether it is monopoly or not. However, to the extent we have the features given here, we can say that it can be a monopoly. Okay, so again, the answer is showing on the screen right now. You can read it, and then you can finally conclude what it should be. And then the last part of this question is President Bush said Botswana has demonstrated a commitment to free market principles. Okay, what did this mean? And does the article support this view? Okay, so what does this basically question requires? Question requires you to explain what free market principles are. Mean what did he mean? What Bush means? Okay, what free market principles are. So you have to define free market as basically the system in which resources are under private ownership, and then you can say that these are basically the market structures that are based on the free forces of demand and supply. Everything is set through the free forces of demand and supply. And profit motive is also there, quick response will be there. And such kind of market is basically known as free market economy. So Bush means that Botswana contains these features. And the last thing you have to basically consider is, and does the article supports this view? The article you read above, does that basically supports the view that this is a free market or not? Okay, so you can read the answer of this question right now on the screen, showing on the screen right now. The article supports this view. However, it says that government is involved in industrial sector, contrasts with the view of a free market system. When government is involved, it basically becomes a mixed economy instead of free market economy. Okay, so now the last question you can see on the screen is discuss the advantages to a developing economy if it becomes diversified. Okay, so when question is basically discuss, it starts with the term discuss. Then you have to give points for, points against, and then conclusion. And you can see the question is relevant to diversification. First of all, you must know that what diversification is. Diversification is basically when you produce multiple range of products. You instead of relying on only one product, you produce more than one type of goods. And definitely it brings benefits or advantages to a developing economy, but it has some disadvantages as well, and then you will have to give conclusion. So what are the advantages of diversification? When you diversify, you produce multiple type of goods, and when you produce multiple type of goods as a producer, what benefits you can get? Your risk of loss is reduced. It means if there is loss in the production of one good, that loss can be easily compensated with the profit of another product. And in the same way, when you are diversifying, it is beneficial for the consumers because they get variety of products. They can improve their quality of life, and it also creates more employment in the country. It creates more tax revenue for the government when more goods are produced. However, diversification may not be beneficial, rather specialization may be beneficial. Specialization is when you focus on one product, and diversification is when you produce a wide range of goods. That is called diversification. So diversification has some drawbacks as well, because when you are not focused, you might not be as much efficient as you should be. So as a result, what happens is you may be wasting some resources. It may lead to higher cost of production as well. And what other benefits can be? GDP of the country can increase, employment will increase, and tax revenue for the government will increase. Import substitutes may be produced within the country. All other benefits and problems are basically given here, and at the end you will have to give a conclusive statement at the end. Like, so diversification overall is beneficial for a country as it reduces the risk of loss. So this is basically the case study, one case study. This is not very much tricky, and in A2, case study is not highly tricky as compared to AS level economics. So if you have basic knowledge of relevant terms, then you can easily relate them, you can easily explain them as well. So this is it for today's class, and I will be explaining further case studies and long questions in subsequent classes. If you are watching this channel regularly, then definitely you will benefit from it. Furthermore, I will give, this is the book I have basically written and compiled. You can get it from the market as well. It contains a lot of case studies and a lot of answers to the long questions that will definitely help you out. And I will give you the link in description as well. So this is it. Thank you so much. See you in the next class. Allah Hafiz.